The thing is, I was obviously 47 years of having Save The Children here. I was reading up on a few things past couple of days. And obviously, one of the things that, obviously, kids being bullied, harassed, and now things are different. When I was growing up, things were different. When I was growing up, obviously, getting a little bit of spanking by the teachers was a very normal thing. Being very honest with you. I'm sure it's not that anymore now, I know. When I was growing up, it was a very normal thing. It was something that the scale was always out. If you did something, if you hadn't done your homework, or if you hadn't, if you're not listening in the class, you definitely got a spanking. It was a very normal, casual thing, and I always thought that was the normal thing. That was part of growing up. Obviously now, those memories still remain. They're not going to go away. At 35, I still have all those memories. Now things are different. Now I'm sure are things different now?
Yeah.
How is school now for you?
I mean, I passed out from school like 6 years
A while
ago.
back.
So.
Well, it's different.
But it's not that.
Have we? Let me pick a specific topic of bullying, getting harassed, getting pushed around. Have we worked on this specifically within all 77 districts? Have we when it comes to talking with educators, when talking to even teachers, have you worked on a lot of things? Have we worked on this? Not trying to put you on the spot here.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Not in all 77 districts.
Yeah.
Although we are trying to work with the government to get a lot of national legislation across.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's illegal to hit a child in school. Great. But sometimes the things that are on the books don't always filter down everywhere. So it's really important, I think, not just to let teachers and parents know this is important, but also to let children know their rights to have a safe, conducive learning environment. And it's actually really exciting because when we get the message out, we have a hotline that children can call, and we get complaints. So children will call and say, well, the teacher spoke to me in a really horrible way, or, we heard that another child was being hit. And then we're able to work with the government and the Ministry of Education and take immediate action. So that's been really rewarding because, with the big issues, you can't solve something if you don't know about it.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is to get the word out there. You have a right to have an education without any violence, without any bullying. And I think all the research shows that it was the same with me, right? When you were young, you misbehaved, you did something wrong, you get a smack. That's the only way you could learn. Otherwise, you were too spoiled. But all the research shows that our brains, especially children's brains, do something very different when they anticipate violence or experience violence. And that's not learning. It's not embracing something new. They just learn to fear the punishment as opposed to saying, let me try to do something differently. So I think one is helping people really understand why this is so important, what the evidence shows. And then two is hearing from children themselves and them feeling that they have the right to stand up for themselves. And I think even more lovely is stand up for each other.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are people reporting that, their friends experienced violence or they heard of someone and they called the network and were able to address that, which is really an exciting development and relatively new.
Well, interesting. I didn't know about this hotline. Can we share a little bit more on this? Just Google as well.
So
You were saying,
for all of our program areas, there's a hotline. It's an email address or a phone number that people can call. Right now, it's just in the Save the Children Project areas that we share this information. So if anyone's associated with the program and has an issue, a complaint, a suggestion, good or bad, they can call and it goes through our big feedback system. So this is where we're catching a lot of these cases. The government, I believe, also has a hotline, but usually what happens is this goes through us and then we work in our areas. I wish it covered the whole country. We're getting there little by little, but it's really exciting to see just the improvements that's been made in the areas that we're working in now.
Yeah. But for me personally, it's the scars remain. When you get beaten up in school, by friends, it's different. Those scars are different scars. But when your teachers beat you, when your teachers have hit you, and when your teachers have shown shown you the other side of them, where they're not just educators, but they're devils. They're practically devils, where they've literally smacked you in a way that you're never going to forget, even if you're 35. Yeah. So I personally want that to change, and I am sure that it's changing, and I'm sure, like you said, Save The Children is working on it, the government's working on it, and we have a hotline as well, which is very interesting. I wish we had a hotline when we were back when we were in school. That would have been very, very interesting. But that's good to know, and that's a way of empowering the kids as well, I believe.
And I mean, all these changes we make, whether it's climate change, whether it's stopping violence at home, parenting without violence, schools without violence, the change usually comes to the children first. We can help ensure good legislation, we can work with the government, but people have to believe that it's their right to have a safe environment. And then kids have a powerful voice and they make themselves heard. And I love going to schools and seeing, you tend to think it's older youth that speak out. But in one case, we had a meeting with a group of young children, and the boy couldn't have been more than 8 or 9. And he said, well, I don't like the way you're running this meeting. And we said, okay, great, tell us. We're listening. And how wonderful that he felt he could give that feedback, because we're here for him, right? We're not here for us. And give that feedback about how he wanted the meeting to go, the time of day he wanted, the fact that this was interrupting some of his study time and play time. And great, that's what we want. We want to hear people's voices, and we want to make sure that whatever we're doing makes sense for them.
Yeah. That's definitely wow. Yeah, that's so true. And as well as engaging with the kids as well, like we're doing right now, and engaging with the kids as well. I think that's one of the primary focuses of Save the Children itself.
I mean, we've definitely had a shift over the years. I mean, I think there was a realization maybe a decade or so ago, and we always had children's campaigns. But I think we really looked and said, well, children have an important role to play, and we believe that. But if we believe that, where's our funding going towards? And we realize we have to put more of, I don't know if you have the same saying here, but, put your money where your mouth is. And that's where a lot of these campaigns are coming from, that we're raising funds to make sure that children have a voice. The Sathi Air Bear campaign, it was one of the strangest requests I've ever received. I get this form on my desk for a 12-foot tall teddy bear to stop air pollution. I'm like, what? This seems crazy. And I went, and then they explained. I said, of course. But I would never think of that. But, the youth and children really came up with some fantastic ideas that really, viscerally make you think, this is what's happening, in my lungs. This is what's happening to all of us. And one of the other campaigns I really liked is they went and picked up trash all over the city, and then they stapled it to their body and just stood out there and said, this is what's happening. I'm Nepal, this is Nepal, and this is what's happening when we, throw away plastic bags and other things. So it's so important because we don't have all the solutions and ideas, and really allowing that opportunity for people to speak for themselves and for children to really make us have a voice, but also make us listen. And we need to provide more spaces, more opportunities, and not just Save the Children. I think across the board, sometimes there's these youth campaigns or youth representatives, but sometimes it feels a bit superficial at times. So I think we all need to do a better job of thinking, what can we do better? How can we get people's voices? And even small children, they have things to say too, just in different ways. Sometimes it's through artwork or other things. So I think we need to do a much, much better job of really listening and understanding, and not just telling children, come and sing a song about environment or write a poem about pollution. That's important, but it really needs to come from them.
Come from within as well, and come from them too. That's so true.